We live in a time where silence has become almost foreign. Everywhere you turn, people are talking, posting, arguing, and broadcasting their lives. It's a culture obsessed with noise. Social media thrives on it. News outlets profit from it, gossip feeds it, and the world encourages you to join the chorus of distraction. But if you want to rise above the average, if you want to truly transform your life, you must learn the discipline of silence. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength, control, and wisdom. Think about it. Every single day, your mind is bombarded with thousands of messages, advertisements, conversations, opinions, demands. If you are not careful, those voices will begin to shape your identity without your permission. They will tell you what success looks like, what beauty looks like, what happiness should feel like. And before long, you are living someone else's version of life instead of your own. Silence is your weapon against this invasion. It is the act of stepping away from the noise so you can hear your own voice, your own convictions, and the whisper of your true purpose. Silence is not about being passive. It's not about hiding or running away. It's about conserving your energy. You only have so much energy in a day, and every time you engage in meaningless debates, every time you defend yourself against small-minded opinions, every time you explain your vision to people who were never meant to understand it, you are wasting that energy. Silence allows you to take that energy and invest it into something productive, something that actually moves your life forward. There's a story hidden in the natural world that speaks to this truth. A seed doesn't make noise. It doesn't announce its presence in the soil. It doesn't scream, "Look at me, I'm growing." It simply sits there, in silence, in darkness, gathering strength. It absorbs nutrients, it expands its roots, and at the right moment, it breaks through the surface. The world sees the tree or the flower, but what they didn't see was the quiet process underground that made it possible. That's exactly how your life works. The most powerful growth happens in silence. When you stay silent, you resist the temptation to seek validation from others. Too many people are addicted to approval. They can't make a move unless someone likes it, shares it, or applauds it. That's weakness disguised as connection. Silence breaks that addiction. It teaches you to be grounded in who you are and where you're going, even if no one claps for you. And when you stop living for applause, you start living for purpose. But silence also has another gift. It helps you master your emotions. How many times have you spoken too quickly, reacted in anger, or revealed something you weren't ready to share? Words are powerful, but once they leave your mouth, you can't take them back. Silence creates space between stimulus and response. It allows you to think, to weigh your words, to decide if what you are about to say serves your future or sabotages it. That's why the strongest people are often the quietest. They don't waste words. They don't need to prove themselves. Their strength is demonstrated in their restraint. Let's be clear, silence doesn't mean isolation forever. It doesn't mean you cut off everyone and retreat into a cave. It means you choose wisely when to speak and when not to. It means you understand timing. You can't share your dreams with everyone, because not everyone has the capacity to handle them. You can't explain your moves to people who only know how to sit still. You can't expect understanding from people who have never seen the vision you carry. Silence keeps you from giving pearls to swine, from exposing sacred things to careless hands. And here's the paradox. The more you embrace silence, the louder your results will become. When you stop announcing every plan, when you stop defending every decision, when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't matter, you free yourself to focus on execution. And execution always speaks louder than explanation. Your results will speak volumes, and people will have no choice but to notice. Silence is not about muting your destiny, it's about amplifying it through action. Look around at the world's most impactful people, the ones who changed history, the ones who built empires, the ones who rose from nothing to greatness. They weren't loud about their process. They weren't constantly broadcasting every step of the journey. They worked in silence, they cultivated their craft, they prepared themselves in private, and when the time was right, the fruit of their labor shouted louder than any words could. So the question is, are you willing to be silent? Are you willing to walk away from the noise, to ignore the constant chatter, to resist the urge to broadcast everything you're doing? Can you sit in the quiet long enough to hear your own vision? Can you value growth more than applause? Can you choose discipline over distraction? If you can, you will unlock a power that very few ever experience. Silence is not absence, it is presence. It is the presence of focus, of clarity, of strength, And in a noisy world, silence will make you unshakable. It will keep you grounded when others are swayed by opinions. It will keep you disciplined when others are distracted by trends. It will keep you powerful when others are drained by chaos. Learn to embrace silence, and you will find the strength to rise above the noise and step fully into your destiny. The greatest mistake most people make in life is that they spend more time looking outward than they do looking inward. They spend more energy analyzing other people's lives than they do analyzing their own. They scroll endlessly through social media, measuring their progress against someone else's highlight reel. They chase after trends, opinions, and approval, forgetting that the only project that truly matters, the one project that will determine everything about their future, is themselves. Focusing on yourself is not selfishness, it's stewardship. It is the deliberate act of taking ownership of your mind, your body, your spirit, and your purpose. And if you don't do that, no one else will. Every day you wake up, you are faced with a choice. Will I build myself or will I neglect myself? Most people, without realizing it, choose neglect. They pour out for everyone else. They give their best energy to their job, their boss, their friends, their obligations, and they leave nothing for themselves. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel stuck, why they feel like life is passing them by. The truth is simple. You cannot give what you do not have. If you neglect yourself, you are giving the world a lesser version of you. But when you focus on yourself, you create abundance. And that abundance spills over into everything you touch. Focusing on yourself means asking hard questions. What do I believe about myself? What habits are shaping my future? What skills am I developing? What weaknesses am I ignoring? These are not comfortable questions, but they are necessary if you want transformation. You can't just hope for a better future, you must take ownership of it. And ownership begins with focus. Think about a garden. If you spend your time peeking over the fence at your neighbor's yard, envying their flowers or criticizing their weeds, your own soil will dry out, your plants will wither, your fruit will never grow. But if you get down on your knees, dig into your soil, water your seeds, pull your weeds, your garden will flourish in its own time. That is the essence of self-focus. You cannot harvest from what you do not tend. Now, let's deal with the lie that focusing on yourself is selfish. That lie has kept many people trapped in cycles of burnout and resentment. It has convinced them that the noble thing to do is always sacrifice their own growth for the sake of others. But the truth is, the best gift you can give the world is the best version of yourself. When you are strong, whole, and focused, you are able to serve more effectively, love more deeply, and lead more powerfully. Self-focus is not about isolation, it's about preparation. It's about becoming the kind of person whose life is so full that it naturally overflows into the lives of others. Focusing on yourself also means breaking free from comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, the destroyer of peace, and the silent assassin of purpose. When you compare yourself to others, you either end up in pride because you think you're doing better than they are, or you end up in despair because you think you're behind. Either way, comparison steals your focus from where it belongs on your journey. Your path is unique, your timeline is unique, your calling is unique. And if you spend your life measuring yourself against others, you will miss the destiny that was tailor-made for you. Here's the truth. Success doesn't come from imitation. It comes from authenticity. It comes from discovering who you truly are and maximizing that. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You need to be better than who you were yesterday. And that only happens when you turn your attention inward, when you invest in your own growth daily. What does focusing on yourself look like in practice? It looks like setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It looks like waking up early to invest in your personal development instead of mindlessly consuming entertainment. It looks like saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your destiny. It looks like choosing to read a book that sharpens your mind instead of scrolling through another hour of social media. It looks like taking care of your body because your physical strength fuels your mental and spiritual strength. Every small act of self-focus compounds over time, building a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And here's the beautiful part. When you focus on yourself consistently, you stop needing external validation. You stop chasing after applause because you know your worth is not in what people say, but in who you are becoming. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak with more confidence. You make decisions with more clarity. You walk into rooms with a presence that commands respect, not because you demanded it, but because you have become it. Let me remind you, the world will always try to pull your attention away from yourself. It will always try to distract you with drama, with noise, with the illusion that someone else's life matters more than your own. But if you want to live a life of impact, you must resist. You must make yourself your priority. Not in a selfish way, but in a purposeful way. You are the foundation of everything you build. If the foundation is weak, the house will crumble. But if the foundation is strong, the house will stand no matter what storms come. So today, ask yourself, am I focused on me or am I distracted by them? Am I investing in my growth or am I wasting my energy on comparison? Am I building the best version of myself or am I neglecting the very thing that matters most? The answer to those questions will determine the trajectory of your life. Focusing on yourself is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the greatest investment you will ever make, because when you grow, everything around you grows. When you become strong, you lift others with you. When you focus on yourself, you create a life so powerful, so impactful that you won't need to shout it. Your life will be living proof that self-focus is the key to transformation. One of the greatest downfalls of this generation is the obsession with broadcasting everything. We live in an age where people can't even start something without telling the whole world about it. They post their goals, their dreams, their next big move before they've taken the first real step. And then they wonder why their progress stalls, why they lose momentum, why people doubt them. It's because they've confused talking about the work with actually doing the work. That's why if you want to live with power, focus, and true transformation, you must learn the discipline of moving in silence. Moving in silence is not about secrecy for secrecy's sake. It's about wisdom. It's about protecting your vision until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Think about a newborn baby. When a baby is first born, it's fragile. It needs protection, care, and time to develop strength. You don't expose it to the elements. You keep it safe until it's ready. Your dreams are the same way. When they are young, when they are fragile, when they are still forming, you must guard them. If you expose them too soon, they can be crushed by doubt, criticism, and disbelief. Silence is the shield that protects your vision in its early stages. Not everyone deserves access to your process. Not everyone has the capacity to understand where you're going. Some people only see life through the lens of their own fear, and if you share your vision with them, they will project their fear onto you. They'll tell you it's impossible, that you're not qualified, that you should stay where you are, and if you're not careful, you'll begin to believe them. That's why silence is discipline. It protects you from unnecessary voices that could derail your destiny. But silence is not just about avoiding negativity. It's also about conserving your energy. Talking takes energy. Defending yourself takes energy. Explaining your plans takes energy. And every ounce of energy you give to talking is energy you're not using to build. When you move in silence, you take all that energy and you channel it into execution. You stop wasting time proving and start spending time producing. And here's the truth: production will always silence doubt louder than explanation ever could. Moving in silence also develops humility. When you don't announce every move, you remind yourself that it's not about impressing others. It's not about applause. It's about the work. It's about the grind. It's about building something real. Humility keeps you grounded. It keeps you from getting distracted by validation. It keeps you focused on the process, not just the outcome. And in that process, you become stronger. Think about the greats, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Their greatest work is often done in the dark, away from the spotlight. A champion trains in silence long before they lift the trophy in front of the crowd. An entrepreneur works tirelessly behind closed doors long before their business becomes a household name. A leader refines their vision in solitude long before they stand on a stage. Silence is where greatness is forged. By the time the world sees the results, the work has already been done in private. Now, let's address something important. Moving in silence does not mean hiding forever. It does not mean you never speak, never share, never step into the spotlight. It means you understand timing. There is a right time to reveal, and that time is when the fruit is undeniable. When the results speak for themselves, you don't need to shout. People will see, people will notice, people will respect, because results carry weight that words never will. This discipline is not easy. The urge to share is strong. We crave recognition. We want people to know we're doing something. We want the dopamine hit of likes and applause. But discipline is about saying no to short-term gratification so you can say yes to long-term success. Silence forces you to delay that gratification. It teaches you to be content with obscurity while you build. It teaches you to trust the process, even when no one else sees it. And when you master that, you become unstoppable. Moving in silence also gives you an edge. While everyone else is announcing their plans, exposing their weaknesses, and inviting unnecessary competition, you are quietly advancing. You are building strength in the shadows. You are taking ground while others are wasting time talking. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, it's too late for the doubters. The proof is already there. The work is already done. The victory is already won. So how do you practice this discipline? You start by keeping your goals close to your chest. Write them down, commit them to your heart, but resist the urge to broadcast them. Share them only with people who are truly aligned with your vision, people who will protect and encourage it. Then put your head down and work. Let your daily actions speak louder than your words. Let your consistency tell the story. Let your transformation be the announcement. Every time you feel the urge to talk about your plans, ask yourself, am I talking because it helps me build, or am I talking because I want validation? If the answer is validation, stay silent. Channel that energy into your work instead. Over time, you'll find that silence becomes a habit. It becomes natural. And in that silence, you'll discover a power you never knew you had. In the end, silence is not about what others think. It's about who you are becoming. It's about building discipline, humility, and focus. It's about refusing to let the world dictate your pace or your process. It's about protecting your vision until it's ready to be revealed. And when that day comes, you won't need to say much. Your life, your results, your transformation will say it all. So embrace silence. Let it be your secret weapon. While others are busy talking, you'll be busy building. While others are distracted by applause, you'll be focused on results. While others are broadcasting noise, you'll be creating impact. And when the world finally sees what you've built, they'll realize the truth. Silence is not emptiness, it's power. And the discipline of moving in silence will take you further than words ever could. Energy is one of the most valuable currencies you will ever possess. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose possessions and replace them. But when you waste your energy, you can never get that exact moment of strength, focus, or clarity again. And this is why guarding your energy and protecting your peace is one of the most important disciplines you must master if you want to transform your life. Too many people treat their energy like it's unlimited, pouring it into everyone and everything that makes demands of them. They spend hours on negativity, endless scrolling, pointless arguments, toxic relationships, and distractions that steal their focus. And then, when it's time to work on their goals, when it's time to build their dreams, when it's time to show up for themselves, they're exhausted. They've given the best of themselves to things that don't even matter. This is why guarding your energy is not just optional, it's essential. Guarding your energy begins with awareness. You must know where your energy is going. Pay attention to how you feel after conversations. Do you feel drained or empowered? Pay attention to how you feel after certain activities. Do you feel inspired or depleted? Pay attention to how you feel when you're around certain people. Do they lift you up or weigh you down? Once you begin to track these patterns, you'll realize that some of the greatest leaks in your energy are not from big events, but from small daily habits and interactions that you've tolerated for far too long. One of the biggest energy drains is toxic relationships. People who constantly complain, criticize, belittle, or gossip create a heavy atmosphere that pulls you down. If you spend too much time with them, you start carrying their negativity as if it's your own. Guarding your energy means setting boundaries. It means deciding who has access to you and how much access they get. You don't owe unlimited availability to anyone. Protecting your peace means sometimes saying no without apology. It means cutting off access to people who continually dishonor your energy. It doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. Another thief of energy is distraction. In this digital world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, messages, endless feeds all compete for your attention. And every time you give in, you break your focus. Protecting your peace means creating boundaries with your devices, setting intentional times for focus, and refusing to allow technology to control you. Silence unnecessary notifications. Limit the noise. Give your energy to what matters most, not to whatever pops up on a screen. Guarding your energy also means learning to rest. Many people mistake busyness for productivity, but being busy is not the same as being effective. Constantly moving, constantly working, constantly grinding without rest will deplete you. True power comes from cycles of focused effort and intentional rest. Rest restores your energy. Rest clears your mind. Rest strengthens your creativity. Protecting your peace means giving yourself permission to pause, recharge, and return stronger. Another crucial aspect is mastering your inner dialogue. Sometimes the greatest energy drain is not what others say about you, but what you say to yourself. If your inner voice is constantly criticizing, doubting, or replaying past mistakes, you are robbing yourself of the energy you need to move forward. Guarding your energy means replacing destructive thoughts with empowering ones. It means choosing words of life, hope, and faith over words of defeat. The conversations you have with yourself shape your energy far more than you realize. You must also understand the environments you place yourself in. Certain environments will fuel you while others will drain you. A cluttered, chaotic space will often create a cluttered, chaotic mind. A peaceful, orderly environment will nurture clarity and focus. Protecting your peace means being intentional about the spaces you create. Clean up your surroundings. Design environments that inspire you. Your external world is often a reflection of your internal state, so cultivate both with care. And don't underestimate the power of saying no. Every yes you give is a withdrawal from your energy account. If you say yes to too many things that don't align with your purpose, you'll find yourself depleted when it's time to say yes to what truly matters. Protecting your peace means practicing the discipline of selective yeses. Every yes must be intentional. Every yes must be aligned with your vision. Guard your energy as if your future depends on it, because it does. Another way to protect your peace is through gratitude and presence. When you are constantly living in the past, reliving mistakes, or worrying about the future, you drain your energy with things you cannot control. Peace comes from being present. Gratitude roots you in the now. When you focus on what's good, what's working, what's a blessing, you create a flow of positive energy that strengthens you. Peace is not just the absence of chaos, it's the presence of perspective. Gratitude gives you that perspective every single day. Let's also talk about comparison. Few things rob peace faster than measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. Comparison creates insecurity. Insecurity drains energy. Guarding your energy means staying in your lane, focusing on your race, and celebrating your progress. Your journey is unique. Your timeline is different. Protecting your peace means refusing to let someone else's success make you feel small. Instead, let it inspire you to keep growing without losing sight of your own path. Finally, guarding your energy and protecting your peace is not a one-time act. It's a lifestyle. You must consistently check in with yourself, audit your energy, and make adjustments. Life will always present demands, people will always make requests, distractions will always appear, but you get to choose what you allow and what you protect. You get to decide where your energy flows. And when you guard it with wisdom, you'll find that you have more strength, more focus, and more peace to pour into the things that truly matter. Your energy is your fuel. Your peace is your anchor. Without them, even the best opportunities will slip through your hands because you won't have the capacity to sustain them. But when you guard them, when you protect them, when you prioritize them, you become unstoppable. You create space for clarity. You create strength for consistency. You create a life where you can thrive instead of merely survive. So choose today to stop wasting energy on what doesn't serve you. Choose to protect your peace from every thief that tries to steal it. Choose to honor your own capacity so you can show up at your highest level. Because when your energy is guarded and your peace is protected, you are free to give your best self to the world, and that is where transformation begins. Every one of us is building a legacy, whether we recognize it or not. A legacy is not just about what you leave behind after you're gone. It's about what you are living right now. It's about the example you set, the values you embody, the energy you give off, and the impact you make on the lives around you. And one of the greatest ways to build a lasting legacy is through strength and stillness. Strength is the power to endure, to overcome, to persist in the face of adversity. Stillness is the wisdom to pause, to listen, to remain unshaken when the storms of life rage. When you combine these two qualities, you create a foundation that not only transforms your own life, but also inspires generations to come. Building a legacy of strength begins with resilience. Life is going to test you. There will be setbacks, disappointments, failures, and unexpected obstacles. Many people allow these moments to define them, to break their spirit, to shrink their potential. But strength is not the absence of hardship. It is the decision to rise again every time you fall. It is the resolve to keep moving forward when everything in you says quit. Your children, your community, and everyone who watches your life will learn more from how you respond to challenges than from anything you ever say. Legacy is built in those moments when you choose to be strong, even when it would be easier to give in. Strength also comes from discipline. Too many people want results without responsibility, success without sacrifice, blessings without boundaries. But true strength is formed in the discipline of daily choices. The decision to wake up early and work when no one is watching. The choice to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. The commitment to live by principles instead of impulses. Discipline may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but it creates strength that lasts. And when people see your consistency, your integrity, your unwavering commitment, they will remember it. That's the kind of strength that lives beyond you. But strength without stillness can become harsh, rigid, even destructive. This is why stillness is just as important. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It means being rooted in peace even while you take action. It means creating space to reflect, to listen, to realign with your values. In a noisy world where everyone is shouting for attention, stillness sets you apart. It gives you clarity that others lack. It allows you to see opportunities others miss. It protects you from making impulsive decisions that could destroy what you've built. Stillness is strength under control, power with perspective. One of the greatest examples of legacy is not found in those who shouted the loudest, but in those who lived with quiet conviction. People who didn't need to prove themselves in every conversation. People who didn't need to fight every battle. People who let their lives, their work, and their results speak for them. This is the power of staying silent in the right moments. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every provocation deserves your attention. When you stay silent, you conserve your energy for the battles that truly matter. You show the world that your strength is not fragile, it is steady, unshaken, immovable. Stillness also creates space for wisdom. Many people are constantly moving, constantly talking, constantly reacting. But wisdom often comes in the silence. When you pause, you hear things you would have missed. You recognize patterns, you discern intentions, you align with your deeper purpose. Silence allows you to listen not only to others, but to your own intuition and to the guidance that comes when you are still. Your legacy will not be defined by how busy you were, but by how wise you became. Building a legacy of strength and stillness also requires emotional maturity. Many people live reactive lives, exploding in anger, drowning in fear, or collapsing in despair. But when you choose to be emotionally mature, you show others what it means to have power over yourself. You demonstrate that real strength is not controlling others, but mastering your own responses. You show that peace is not dependent on circumstances, but on perspective. Emotional maturity is rare, and that's why it's remembered. It becomes part of the legacy you leave behind. Legacy is also about impact. Who are you helping? Who are you lifting? Who are you teaching through the way you live? Strength and stillness make you a source of stability for others. When people know that you are unshaken, they come to you for guidance. When they see your discipline, they trust your leadership. When they experience your peace, they find hope for themselves. Your life becomes a testimony that inspires others to rise higher. That is legacy in action, not just words, not just achievements, but influence that transforms lives. Another crucial part of building this legacy is integrity. Strength without integrity becomes dangerous. Stillness without integrity becomes passivity. But when you root your life in principles, honesty, honor, faith, compassion, you create a legacy that cannot be erased. People may forget your words, they may forget your possessions, but they will never forget the way you lived. They will never forget how you treated them. They will never forget the peace you carried and the strength you displayed. That is what lives on long after you are gone. And here is the truth. Your legacy starts now. Too many people think legacy is something you build at the end of your life, but every decision you make today is shaping it. Every action, every habit, every response is writing the story people will remember about you. Are you building a legacy of strength or weakness, of peace or chaos, of wisdom or regret? The time to choose is not someday, it's now. When you focus on yourself, when you stay silent in the right moments, when you guard your energy, when you walk with strength and stillness, you are not just changing your own life. You are setting an example for everyone who comes after you. You are showing them what it looks like to live with discipline, wisdom, and purpose. And that example will echo far beyond your lifetime. So decide today to build a legacy that matters. Decide to embody strength that endures. Decide to cultivate stillness that inspires. Decide to live in such a way that when people remember you, they don't just remember what you said or what you achieved, they remember who you were. Because a legacy of strength and stillness is not about leaving behind possessions, it's about leaving behind a presence. It's about becoming the kind of person whose life continues to inspire long after you've walked off the stage of this world.